Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 284 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are talking about step 4 of the SOAP process, and that is progress. How are we going to know, or how are we going to measure if we're moving in the direction that we want to go, to fill that gap between where we are and where we want to be? Well, I like to come up with different ways to measure it. And this is actually one of my favorite areas to start with, physical area and aspects of our life, because almost everything in it is actually measurable. A lot of different areas that we've talked about this year have been very, very subjective. It's why we take and we apply things like the urine analysis to different options as we're analyzing them, because there's so much subjectivity and there's so many differences between the different options. If we can find a tool or a framework that will help us to get a clearer picture on what to do next, we don't have any of that analysis paralysis. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I definitely tend to overanalyze everything to death. But how are we going to measure it? How are we going to know? And I like this little graph, because when we're doing anything in life, when we're solving any problem, when we're wanting to change something, at least it's been my experience, we want it to happen either immediately or overnight. And we expect it to go from where we are to where we want to be in a nice straight line. But this represents, and it's not a true and accurate representation, but the different areas and aspects of my life and how they've actually gone versus the straight line of how I expect them to go, right? We all think we're going to do all these different milestone things in our lifetime, and it's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be perfect, right? And then life happens and stuff gets thrown at us that we didn't expect, and we have to make changes and deviate and make different choices and decisions. And sometimes we have to go all the way back to what feels like the beginning and start over. But we're not starting over, because we're not starting without the experiences and the lessons learned that we've achieved. And that is a huge advantage whenever we consciously choose to do something else. So that's a little off topic, but it does have everything to do with progress, right? We're not looking for perfection, because there is no such thing. I was having a conversation with one of my heroes and mentors the other day, and we were talking about, and she's definitely a perfectionist, right? I admire her so much, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she shared a blooper reel, and I was so excited, because I'm like, I always thought she was just perfect, and she just did this stuff in one take. Well, no, just like everybody else behind the scenes, sometimes it takes us 20 times to get something to the level that we want it to be, depending on what it's for. I used to edit my videos and do all this crazy stuff that took me a ton of time, because I wasn't very good at it. I mean, it wasn't my skill set, my expertise. Learned how to do it to do what I could to get by. But it's like thumbnails on YouTube. I'm not good at them. I just wing them and throw them up, because that's what I was told by the experts you have to do to get attention. Well, I don't really want that kind of attention. I just want the people that I'm here to speak to pay attention to my stuff. So anyway, how do we measure? How do we know we're making progress? How do we do that? Everyone should have a pink toolkit in their office for emergencies. I don't remember where I got this. Must have been a present, because I don't remember ever buying a pink toolkit. But I have a pink toolkit. It's in my office. And it comes in really handy, because there are a lot of tools we need to do anything we want in life. And the more tools we have in our toolbox, the easier it is to create the results we want, like trying to get your tool back in your toolbox. Forget about it. So today, what are we going to do? Our action item is to come up with the answer to the question, how do you know? How do you know you're making progress from where you are to where you want to be? How are you going to measure that? And like I said, with this physical area, it's really easy. Me, I want to lose 25 pounds by the end of the year. I already decided that that's my goal. And that's probably going to be what I add the ideas process to at the end of the month. Haven't decided that yet, but I will when we get there. But for this, that I set a very specific goal. It's pretty easy to measure if I'm getting there or not, right? I just hop on the scale and I'm either going toward that or I'm not, right? It's pretty simple. I'm either drinking 8 glasses of water or I'm not. I can measure that. I used to take, my dad taught me this trick after my sudden cardiac arrest. He's like, take Post-it notes, because I worked at 3M his whole career. And so he was there during the development of Post-it notes, and we were definitely a Post-it note family. So he would say, just take a pad of Post-it notes, set it on the counter, buy a glass of water somewhere where you'll walk by every day, and just every time you drink a glass of water, put a little hash mark and then fill it up again and put it back down there. So every time you walk by, you take a drink of water. And I tell you, it made it easy for me to drink 8 glasses of water a day. And prior to my sudden cardiac arrest, I don't think since high school I ever drank more than a glass of water a day, or unless I was outside doing something active in the summertime. No, I was a coffee and pop addict by every sense of the word. Now, I gave up coffee after my cardiac arrest for 5 years. Then I found out it was good for my blood type, and so I started drinking it again. But now I only drink like a cup or 2 a day. Used to drink a pot or 2 a day, and a 2 liter at least of diet soda. So bad for me, but I do credit that for me still being here as partial credit from all the formaldehyde I consumed. I figured I was pretty well preserved. So it's fun. After you have a death experience, you can joke about it. That's good, right? Okay, so what are we doing today? We are sharing in the comments below today how we're going to measure, how are we going to know we're making progress. And we're going to celebrate every little step of progress that we make. And if we go backwards on anything that we do, we're just going to look at it. We're going to say, well, what happened there? Why did that happen? We're going to take the lesson into our next step and just keep moving until we achieve the thing that we want, until we get over the challenge that we're having with our physical health or well-being. All right, if you need any help, hit me up and ask. Always have an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.